She wrote hooks for Snoop Dogg. She held her own on the Chronic alongside the most aggressive MCs on the West Coast. Her debut single hit number 5 on Billboard.
I rock rough and stuff with my Afro puffs. Rock over what you may say. I rock rough and stuff with my Afro.
And then Death Row Records destroyed her career. Not with a scandal, not with a beef, with a contract. This is the story of the Lady of Rage, the most dangerous woman in hip-hop history that Suge Knight simply refused to let the world hear. Robin Yvette Allen was born on February 6, 1968, in Farmville, Virginia.
Farmville.
Farmville is where Rage is from.
If you're looking for that city on a hip-hop map, you won't find it. Farmville is the kind of town where ambition has no infrastructure, where a girl with a gift for words has to build her own road out. And Robin did. By the time she was 20 years old, she had made it to New York City. But not to a record deal, not even to a real apartment. In 1988, the woman who would one day stand shoulder to shoulder with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac Shakur was homeless. Let that sit.
Lived there. Used to wash up in the sink with coffee pots. They didn't have hot water. I had to use the coffee water to make it hot and take it in there. But
she had pride, but survival came first. That summer, everything changed when she crossed paths with Shakiem of the original Outlaw Brothers, a rap group out of Queens. He heard her rap once. That was all it took. She was in. The Outlaw Brothers eventually linked with the LA Posse, the same production team behind LL Cool J's biggest early hits, and Rage spent the next 3 years grinding out of Chung King Studios in Lower Manhattan. In 1991, she landed vocal credits on Chubb Rock's album The One. Recording under the name Rockin' Robin. Her voice was already on records, just not her own. Also in 1991, Dr. Dre heard her on the LA Posse's album They Come in All Colors. He didn't need an audition. He didn't need a mixtape. He heard her voice on someone else's record and knew immediately. This woman belonged on Death Row. Here's the detail that matters. Dre didn't discover her because she was waiting to be found. He found her because she was already doing the work, recording, writing, proving herself in rooms where nobody important was watching. That's not luck. That's preparation meeting opportunity. In 1992, the Lady of Rage appeared on The Chronic, not as background vocals, not as an ad-lib, but as an MC. Her verse on Lyrical Gangbang stood out immediately. She was sharing the track with Corrupt and RBX, two of the most ferocious MCs on the West Coast, and she didn't soften. She matched them bar for bar. By most accounts, she outperformed them. XXL would later describe her delivery as commanding and fearless. Then came Doggy Style in 1993, one of the highest-selling rap albums in history. Lady of Rage was in the room. She was inside the engine of the most dominant label in hip-hop. The talent was never the question. The question was, when would Death Row let her stand alone? On July 26, 1994, Afro Puffs dropped on the Above the Rim soundtrack.
I rock rough and stuff with my Afro puffs.
Produced by Dr. Dre and Daz Dillinger, with Snoop's energy woven into the remix. It hit number 5 on the Billboard Hot Rap Singles chart. This wasn't underground buzz. This was a commercial statement. The world responded. The label knew it. Her debut album, originally titled Eargasm, was ready. It did not come out. It was supposed to follow The Chronic. It didn't. Then it was supposed to follow Doggy Style. It didn't. 3 years passed. 3 years of guest verses on other people's projects.
Always and forever, forever and always. The rhythm will flow from now on through all days. As long as the sun shines, as long as Eisenhower's on.
The Dog Pound's dog food, soundtracks, compilations. Always present. Never the priority. When Death Row finally released her debut in 1997 under the new title Necessary Roughness, everything had changed. Dr. Dre had already walked out the door. Tupac was gone. Suge Knight was facing legal battles. The empire was crumbling, and into those ruins, they dropped her long-awaited solo debut. Necessary Roughness peaked at number 7 on the Billboard R&B chart and number 32 on the Billboard 200. The reviews confirmed what everyone already knew. She had always been ready. In 1998, she left. Not for a bidding war. Not for a bigger label. She left for acting. A woman with a top 5 Billboard hit, a critically respected debut, and the full cosign of Dr. Dre, and she walked away. Not out of failure. Out of exhaustion. She landed a recurring role on the Steve Harvey Show as Coretta the Oxcox from 1997 to 2000, appeared in Next Friday alongside Ice Cube, and built a Hollywood presence entirely on her own terms. In 2021, she appeared in Judas and the Black Messiah, a film about the erasure of a revolutionary. The irony doesn't need a caption. The Lady of Rage was not a cautionary tale of talent without discipline. She had both. She wasn't a casualty of beef or scandal. She wasn't forgotten because she was quiet. Afro Puffs was one of the loudest records of 1994. She was erased because the machine she helped build was never designed to center her. Robin Yvette Allen is 57 years old. She was homeless at 20. She walked into death row and held her ground next to the greatest producers in hip-hop history, and the industry still treated her voice as a feature, never the headline. Death Row built an empire. The Lady of Rage laid the foundation. The question is never whether these women were talented enough. The question is always the same. Who controlled the door, and who decided to keep it closed?